Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Wow, we got another absolutely fantastic show coming your way. This show is, I believe, is so important to each and every last one of us because it requires us to have an understanding, especially if you are investing, and extremely important if you're not, because you need to, in order to, I believe, secure things that you're going to need when it comes close to retirement or money that you can invest and be able to invest that in other things. And in order to do that, you have to have a absolutely fantastic advisor who willing to educate you on things on how to get started if you haven't got started, how to maintain, how to understand your finances throughout the year, and also to talk about your end of year financial review. And we got an absolutely fantastic guest coming your way today. Very educated in everything he does, very meticulous, smart, and he will teach you. And you're going to get an opportunity to get a chance to understand this young man. And I tell you what, he has helped Michelle and I out so much and continue to help us out. So, yeah. So today we're going to talk about, just like I mentioned, our financial year in review. And we got my good friend, my financial advisor, I mean, the educator. I call him the genius, Josh the genius, that's going to enlighten you on how to do this. So we're going to have a sit down conversation with Josh, and we're going to talk about all of these things and how uh, it's so important to understand your investments and how to track them, just like I mentioned, through the end of the year. So Joshua Goldsmith, is the owner of Goldsmith Financial, absolutely fantastic guy. Been in business for quite some time, been doing a whole lot of other things. And I tell you what, you are going to really get an opportunity to understand this guy. Without any further ado, I want to bring to the stage Joshua Goldsmith. How you doing, Josh? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Man, I'm doing just fine, man. I tell you, we back in Texas. I was up there with you last week in sunny California, but it's kind of chilly in Texas right now. But it's okay.
Okay.
It's home. It's home.
Yeah.
So one of the things, Josh, I think is so important is the people that are investing and people that are not investing, either or. Why are you not investing? And why it's so important to invest. Can you, first of all, tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where
Yeah.
you grew up, what triggered you, how you get off into this, and tell them how you're helping so many folks to understand investments.
That's a triple barrel question, JC. Here, I'm a certified financial planning professional, uh, and I've been in the business for about 18 years. Hail from Michigan, so that's where I'm originally from. Living now in Southern California, Temecula area, and yeah, it's been a great career choice, career path. My fascination started in the financial markets at an early age, about 13 years old, and I've been following the markets for many years. We're having a pretty breakaway year this year, but business is great. Love what I do.
Wow. And this had been a very, very good year where we smashed records. I'm talking about the markets, but a lot of people, Josh, still feel that like we in a depression or something. I mean,
It's never
because
enough. It's never enough. We can see our portfolios go up like a straight arrow, and people want it parabolic. So there's always someone that you can always do better, and you can always do worse. It's all relative. That's why it's so important when it comes to investing to do a check in with your advisor. Like where are you at? What is your actual risk tolerance? You may think it's one thing, but as measured by a financial advisor, it it quite possibly could be something different. You can think you're aggressive and maybe you're only growth oriented. I've come across that quite a bit, but to have your time horizon as well. If you've got 5 years as opposed to, hey, we're saving this money for a down payment on a house in a couple of years, there's a vastly different type of investment that should be considered when you have different goals in mind. So if you're not considering your time horizon, your goals, your life stage, you know generally the closer you get to a goal, the more conservative you should become, because uh, that's if your kids are going to college next year, you don't want to be taking a whole lot of risk in that college savings plan, because the money's going to be needed in a year.
Well, Josh, as I mentioned, this I believe was a great year for the market. And how did the major U.S. stocks indicators perform? I'm talking about, it's normally like 10, 11 major stocks that drives everything else. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I think you're asking really about the markets in general. The S&P 500 is 500 stocks that are in an index that are supposed to represent the United States economy, and they are heralded as doing such. So that index is up 23% just year to date. Whereas the long-term average, if you're going back 100 years, I mean, you're talking 9 to 10% is the average annual return. So we're effectively doing, two, maybe close to 2.5 times in the, what the average is. So, if you want to compare it to that, yes, we are having a banner year. Technology index is the Nasdaq. That is closer to 30% for on the year. That has a closer, higher average annual return since its inception. But as you can imagine, technology is a huge driver of where we're at in this landscape.
Yeah, technology and you're absolutely right. And you mentioned 23%. That's unheard of. I I don't remember maybe you in recent years. I mean, that we ever had a year like this. Uh, since the coming back from the depression and everybody started, and, so um, what factors is contributed to this year? I'm talking about this particular year, and what indicators do you see for next year if this trend continued to go?
Yeah, I think it was Wells Fargo advisors came out the other day, or Morgan Stanley, one of them, and they were saying that they're expecting an 8% increase on the S&P 500, modest increase, right? Modest, and so that would be on top of how we end up this year, because they'll restart it on January 1st. That's if they're measuring it that way. So that's pretty good. I mean, what has spurned it? What has spawned this huge growth is there's a lot of excitement for our think our country. People are really excited to finally have a president that they know who the president's going to be, because the markets like certainty, and so if you look at just the last month, the growth in the markets just in the last month, it's been pretty nice to see, just since these elections closed. So there's going to be a whole new political landscape. Legislation is going to be changing. Tax legislation is going to change, as does every time we get a new president.
Wow. So we got about 2 minutes before the break. But what are the major sectors? I know that you just touched on a little bit. That is the key that you think is a key behind this year's successes.
Yeah, I have to look at the numbers and see who came in first, right? And for the top performers, but technology is just driving a lot of this. Like I said before, you know, things like Nvidia, things like Apple, they're just leading the charge on these. With the new technologies for Chat GPT coming out and all of the smart technologies. You know, if you think and just it was just not even 20 years ago, we barely knew what an iPhone was. And now we're on like the 15th generation or 16th generation of it, and it's just it's so exciting, at least to me, to see where we're going and how all this technology transforms our world. And the other sector is healthcare. Healthcare is always doing well, right? You've got to buy, you got to have your health insurance, and the healthcare companies are doing well.
Hold that thought, Josh. We're going to take a station break. I tell you what, we're going to take a station break and we're going to come back and we're going to continue this great conversation. We're going to talk about a whole lot more. And if you want to be part of the conversation, regardless of which platform that you're watching us on, whether it's E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, and 60 other live platforms, welcome to the show. If you want to be part of it, all you do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I got my great friend here, my financial advisor, and I tell you, this man right here is absolutely fantastic. And a very productive year. And me and Michelle's giving him two thumbs up. And you can do the same thing. I mean, but first of all, you have to invest. I mean, you got to invest. If you sitting back waiting to hit the lotto, like a lot of people I know that watching this show, they gonna be mad at me. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta get my $100 worth of lotto ticket. I gotta do that at least every week.
Nice to dream, right? It's real nice to dream. So there's only going to be one of those, right? One winner.
I don't have a problem getting my $2 worth of lotto ticket. I mean, I do it. I guess you do it too, Josh, every now and then.
Every
Uh,
now and
I'm
then.
talking about like I said $2, then that's all I mean. Like
Yeah.
$2. And that
Hey,
might,
remember when it used to be $1,
yeah.
right? Now it's $2, and that's kind of an example of inflation. If you think about it, what used to cost maybe a loaf of bread for $4 is now $6 or $7. And it's not the actual items that are more expensive. It's that the dollar. It's not like it's worth a loaf of bread is worth more. It's just that the dollar is buying less.
Yeah.
And it's important for people to differentiate. Oh, it's so expensive for bread. No, it's not. It's the same cost. When you print money, when the Fed prints money, there is it buys less. It's a simple ABCs of finance. And so a couple of years ago, we had 9% or higher of inflation, and we hadn't seen that here in this country in over 50 years. I mean, there's a lot of people just haven't seen it, haven't been around for it. It's been quite some time since it's reared its little head, and it's important to understand how that affects you, your portfolio, your future earning potential on your portfolio. Because remember, the reason the stock market was invented was to have a means for people to be able to offset that inflation. And so when you're buying let's say a diversified mix of stocks and bonds and mutual funds, and you own different type asset classes, you're able to get that 8 to 12% a year if you're a growth and income and long-term investor. It's the long-term averages for returns, and that traditionally can offset what is a long-term 2.5 to 3% inflation rate. That's all it is back down below 3% today, folks. So we kind of got to move on from that mentality of we haven't had inflation in so long, whereas we're insulated in this country. You go across the pond, and that's all they know is inflation.
Well, you mentioned that inflation, and a lot of people panic, and to me, a lot of people gave up their morals, their values, their ethic, their whatever, because they panic and they're like, "Hey, we got to get somebody in here to fix this." Now, this person might not be human or whatever that is, but you trust somebody to come in and there's no more is there. I mean, zero, but I'm gonna get a bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid, and but I think that was a grave mistake. Grave mistake. That's happened like that because, um, first of all, understanding, Josh, I believe that a person need to understand things like this happen. I'm talking about in the market. But if
Yeah.
you just throw everything out like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, cause you panicking and you're not thinking about tomorrow.
No, it's important to look at things in several respects when you're thinking about taking your cash off the sidelines, because if you know that in the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, your money is going to buy less tomorrow than it is today, and you're just sitting in cash, not earning any type of interest, not being invested according to your future goals and needs, you're damaging yourself. You're hurting yourself. There's no one else you're hurting. What do you're taking it out on the markets, not investing because you think that there's too much risk. Well, life is risk, whether you get on the left side or the right side of the bed, you're taking a risk. And it's a risk to get old. it's a risk to not, right. I mean, everything's a risk. So if you find a risk expert that will, like a financial advisor, I look at myself as a risk mitigator, that's able to match you up with the right type of investments for you, where you could potentially earn and keep up and maybe even a little ahead of inflation. I mean, that's that's a humble way to approach the market. And if it's just you want to make as much money as possible, I mean, you better just make sure that you're invested according to your risk tolerance, because otherwise you won't be able to think straight throughout the investment process.
So getting back to the topic of our financial year in review. First of all, I think and I believe that uh, just like you mentioned, this was a great year. But the people that are sitting on the sideline are people that are not investing because they waiting on a savior to come around and just change everything, change everything. Uh,
Okay.
Nothing is going to change that much from a political perspective. I believe, and this is just my thought process, just like what y'all said, if you got money that's sitting on the sideline, cash, whatever, you might want to invest that. Get you a great financial advisor. I ain't talking about somebody just trying to take all your money, this and that. To give you an understanding why it's important to invest, to give you an understanding of how you should go about mapping out your goals, your 1 year goal, 3 to 5 year goal, your long term goals, with the potential of money or investments that you could have over a period of time. And I believe that sometimes that you have to get rid of that mindset, because if you got, say, $1,000 uh, in your safe at home, next week, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, guess what? If you don't do nothing with that $1,000, you still got $1,000. you know, but if you reach out and try to get some financial advice on how you can turn that into uh, more and more and invest and over. You always tell me about that 7 year thing. I forgot what you said, Josh. What is it?
Oh, the Rule 72, I think you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Yes.
That's whatever the interest rate is that you're getting. If you just divide by the number of years, uh, then that's how long it takes for your time for your money to double. So if you're getting 10% a year, the Rule 72 says in 7.2 years, your money will double. Instead of compound interest. That's an easy way to figure out, if your goals are 10%, how long it will take you. So, or how much money roughly you'll have in retirement. How many doubles do you have till retirement?
Mm.
Because if you're thinking, if you got 30%, 40% this year, and you're thinking that this is going to last, things typically come back to the mean. And I'm hoping it lasts. I love a bull market like anybody else. Fed announced that they're lowering rates today, and the market, had the Nasdaq, which is a technology index, had over a 3% sell-off. You don't see that very often, like in a day. But I think we're going to be okay.
No, that's just you're right. I noticed there was one stock that was up at, I'm not gonna call it stock name, but it was up $8. And when the Fed came out, I mean up big, I mean high today. Fed came out and said something, bam.
Yeah.
And guess what? A lot of investors, and I'm crying, everybody crying, but tomorrow it'll be different because that's the reaction, and a lot of people react just like with things that they do. And but in finance, I believe that you have always taught me it's a long term uh, effect. I mean, it's a long term. If you go,
It's a long game. Yeah, absolutely. And what does Warren Buffett say? Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. It's a numbers game. You've got to the confidence in the market right now. I mean, feels like we're entering into a euphoric kind of season, right? We still have Christmas next week, and Hanukkah and the holidays are upon us, and we're in a lame duck session right now. So it's like we're the whole world's kind of at a lull right now. We're waiting for a new administration. We're waiting for a new year. We've got the holidays. Everybody's kind of disengaged. It's a good time to kind of catch up on your housekeeping items, and did you take your required minimum distributions from your retirement accounts? Did you fund your retirement account this year? Why not? There's still time. You can do it. Figure out how much you're actually saving for retirement, and if it's
Hey, Josh, hold that thought, because you just brought something up that's so important. But we're going to take a station break. A lot of people don't know they got until December 31st to fund their certain hours or all this other type of stuff. I want you to talk about that when we get back from the break. Just to remind some of our listeners out there that might not understand, and explain the advantages of doing that and for 2024. Then we're going to talk about the outlook of 2025. So I'll tell you what, whichever one of the platforms that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this conversation with Joshua Goldsmith and learn about the things that we're talking about: investment, finance, your future, your kids' futures, whatever that might mean. If you want to be part of it, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get it on the screen. It's your life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley, my famous guest, fantastic guest, my friend Joshua Goldsmith. We'll be back shortly after these breaks.
Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. All right.
We live in a world today that people don't even care about how people see them. Don't realize that we can affect an entire generation and build our character. But you gotta do it with these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. It's the 4 C's. In this life you are gonna grow, but there's things in this world that you gotta know. To be the best that you can be, you wanna grow real big into a strong tree. To be who you were created to be, the one who's gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audio.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I tell you what, just enjoying this great conversation with Joshua Goldsmith. And Joshua Goldsmith, can you tell our viewers and listeners about Goldsmith Financial and how they can get in touch with you and be clients?
Oh,
reach out to you and get information.
I started Goldsmith Financial in 2012. Been in the industry since 2007, so I've been working here for a while. And you can get in touch with me. I'm an independent working through LPL Financial. Goldsmithfinancial.net is my website, so you can check out my history, my bio, and my company information there. But yeah, I work as a financial planner for my clients to help them to achieve whatever goals they have, and that's what I get. That's my passion, is seeing my clients reach those goals, attain those goals, make sure their risks are covered, because there are risks that people don't even think about, that maybe have everyone's right. Life insurance, for example, if you have a family, young kids, you better make sure that you're covered. Also, there is an insurance that I don't sell it personally, but it's called like a personal liability umbrella policy, right? PLUP for short, PLUP. Right? Personal liability umbrella policy. A lot of people don't have it. It's an extra $1 million in coverage, but if somebody sues you for slander, it's a liability coverage. It also covers if you're driving in a car and whatever your liability. Let's say you reach your liability maximum on that policy, it's like a gap insurance. So folks out there should really call whoever's doing their insurances, and make sure that they have a personal liability umbrella policy, or see if it's appropriate for them.
Wow. If they wanted to, say you got someone so excited right now, if they want to call you, if there a phone number that they can call, like, hey, I listened to you on the Dr. James Cooley Show. Yeah. And get me right now. Get me.
Yeah, absolutely. 760-586-5275. Call me up. We'll give you a free review, see where you're at, take your risk temperature, so to speak, and see, because if you're just leaving your money in the bank and you think someone's magically going to help you achieve your goals without you taking the first step, I mean, come on. We've got to move and be proactive, and use these tools as enhancements to our own portfolios and our own lives.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Joshua Goldsmith. Been known for quite some time. He is my financial advisor, my financial advisor, and he could be yours. And I trust him. He knows, and you would too. But we're talking about financial year in review, but it's more than just 2024. We got 2025 coming up, and we already talked about a lot of things that was indicators on why the market, especially S&P, was 23% when it's normally like 10% for 2024, and it's projected to be 8% higher in 2025.
Well, we'll see where we end up this year, right? I mean, we still have another couple of weeks.
Yeah, but Josh, what I would like for you to tell, there's a lot of people that you have the end of the year where you can put more in your IRA, you can put more in this. And can you tell them a little bit about investors out there that might have, I'm talking about, might not, they might know about this, but have forgotten that if you don't do that during this year, you can't go all the way back and try to do it again.
Yeah.
So I think that's our, you can put up to a certain amount of money and a couple other.
Yes. You
Yeah.
you can put I think it's 7,000 going to with an extra $1,000 catch up contribution if you're over the age of 50. You can put that into your Roth IRA or traditional IRA with depending on how much money you make. You can qualify for those, but you can typically put money into those for 2024 up until the following year's tax deadline. So April 15th, I believe it usually is, right around that date, pending if there's a weekend. You can.
Is that April 15th, 2025, that they can still contribute to that?
Yeah, they can still contribute to their 2024 IRAs. And then if you're over the age of 72 and a half this year, you better check with your financial person to see how much you have to drag out of that. Your retirement plan is called a required minimum distribution, because traditional IRAs have them, not Roth IRAs. But obviously, if you're getting a tax advantage for many years, now you're in your 70s, the IRS wants you to take a portion out so that they can also receive some money, right, on your.
They don't want to pay you additional money. But you mentioned, I thought it was 71 and a half, but you mentioned 72 and a half. If our listeners out there that do not understand, please tell them what that is again.
It's called the required minimum distribution. So if you're over the age of 72 and a half, it's going to 73, I believe, soon next year. They keep moving the age up, which is kind of good for investors, right? More time you can let your investments ruminate and grow and remain invested. But you have to take money out of your qualified retirement plans, your IRAs, your 401ks. You have to take money out every year when you're 72 and a half. It's an IRS guideline, regulation, whatever you want to call it. But it's for our older folks to be able to.
For the people that do not take the money out, is there a penalty?
Yeah, there can be pretty massive penalties. 20%. You're talking north of. However, so if you were supposed to take out $3,000, for example, you don't take it out and you leave it in there. Well, when it's caught, and probably usually takes the IRS a couple of years to say, hey, this guy's not doing something right here. They'll come back to you and say, remember that tax return you filed 2 years ago where we're penalizing you on that $3,000 you're supposed to take by 20% per year. Now
they're going to
2 years
penalize you on your money because you wouldn't spend it or take it out,
right? And pay taxes on it. You have to pay taxes on it. That's the name of the game. That's why a Roth IRA, if you qualify for it, you make under certain income limits. They don't have required minimum distributions on that currently. You don't have to take your money at a certain age, which is really nice. It all grows tax deferred in a Roth. So that means if you buy shares of ABC company and it doubles, and then you want to sell it inside your Roth and buy something else, you can do it without paying any kind of capital gain taxes because it's in your Roth IRA. And you can buy 3, 4, 5, 6 different stocks over the years and do well in them. And then when you take the money out when you're age 59 and a half or older, which is also that's when you can start taking money out without penalties. The Roth, you're tax-free. It's tax-free income. So any money you take out of your Roth account is invested tax deferred and then come out tax-free, which is a really advanced, if they're limiting the amount of money you could put into an account, you can bet it's a benefit for you. So really look hard at these retirement plans for you when you're at your employer, these 401k plans, whether or not they're matching. It doesn't make a difference. If they're not matching, so what? It doesn't mean you shouldn't be paying yourself.
I believe that we must pay ourselves. And I believe that we must not get greedy in paying ourselves, meaning we must invest, continue to invest in a long-term solution. Because for our young folks out there, or young adults, or whoever you might be, even if you're in your 50s or 60s, if you haven't already started investing, it's not too late. Especially our younger adults out there, or youth, invest, because it will pay off. If you're older, it's still not too late to invest. As Joshua Goldsmith just told you about the review of 2024, such a great year, but 2025 is expected to be an even better year. And it's going to require folks like you that want to save money or invest money in the future. You're not investing money into yesterday. Yesterday is gone. You want to have a forward outlook and invest in tomorrow for yourself, for your family, for whatever that might mean. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a station break. But when we come back, we're going to ask this great scientist, Joshua Goldsmith, what his predictions are for 2025. Not predictions, but what's his outlook for 2025. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do, well, let me say something first. Wow, we just got picked up in the Dallas area, AM 660, The Answer, K-Sky, Radio, KCBQ, AM 1170, Answer, San Diego, and other radio stations like 10 and iHeartRadio and all this other type of stuff. So 2025 is already starting out great for the J.C. Cooley Foundation and the James Cooley Show. And we're going to have great guests like Josh Goldsmith and others to come and educate you guys on investment. But I want to close this year out where Josh Goldsmith is going to give you some pointers and tips. And we're going to see if we can kind of ease over to a prediction for 2025. So if you want to be part of the conversation, go to the comments, wherever you're watching us on, ask any question that you might. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. We'll be back with a lot more of Joshua Goldsmith. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the breaks.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. The one that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of
Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and in case you're just not tuning in, we're talking to my main man, Joshua Goldsmith, and I'm excited because when it comes to planning your future, when it comes to planning a lot of different things, we have to have an open mindset, and we have to have the right financial advisor. I don't want to uh, spear you out there and say, just go out and just talk to any financial. Oh, no, 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 no. You better talk to somebody you trust and make them earn your trust. Make them earn your trust where you believe in them, they believe in you. It's not just a one person to say, well, of course, you're the client, you make the decision, but based on your understanding of what you're investing in and what your tolerance is. I know Josh mentioned tolerance a couple of times, and what you want to achieve over a period of time. All of those things are so important to ensuring that there will be successes. And also, one of the other things, and Josh don't want me to say this because I do this all the time. Sometimes the market don't always favor you at that moment, and and you're like, oh, that's my financial. I'm gonna get rid. It ain't the financial advice; it's the markets.
Yeah,
it's the
very
market.
good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we can't control the markets. We can position ourselves and do risk assessments on where we're at, how much risk we want to take. But at the end of the day, it's corporate earnings that drive these markets. It's
Corporate earnings. Hey, Josh,
supply and
we
demand.
we got 7 minutes in the show. First of all, I want you to close out 2024. What are some of the advice? I'm talking about, like, you got 1 minute on the closing out of 2024 financial year in review that you want the audience to click from and understand. 1 minute.
Well, we've had a good year in terms of in the market, in stocks. The asset classes that have been producing have been overwhelmingly technology. And, if you think that you've missed out on something, when you're a long-term investor, you're doing three things: buying quality, diversify, and buy and hold if we're fundamental investors. Approach the market in a reasonable way. And the right time to invest is when you have the money available and the wherewithal to do it. Find an advisor, get yourself a portfolio so that you can start planning for your later years, making sure your insurance is covered. But we've had a good year where we've produced typically more than double what the averages are on the long term, and we should be feeling pretty good. It's a good year. There's a lot to look forward to, and the developments in the technology is just overwhelming. It's so excited to see, the things like Starlink, where Elon Musk is sending up, a satellite every other day now, so that the world can have internet, things like that going on. People with visions, long visions of developing this technology. It's just going to get more and more advanced, and so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to invest and become involved and support the companies that you love. And let's stick to some good New Year's resolution. Do you have any New Year's resolutions, JC, or anything for the next year? Yep.
Well, no New Year resolution at this particular time. But I just say this was a very good year. And Josh, let's switch it to, we only got about 4 minutes left in the show. What are your expectations as a financial advisors that you would love for your clients to understand and enjoy the probability of a great year in 2025?
Yeah. So, well, one of the important things in the markets are to remember is that these mutual funds, these stocks, these bonds, these unit investment trusts, annuities, etc. These are tools that we use to get us there. So whether it's called, the name of it is XYZ company or ABC company, because you don't feel as good, and you make sure that you're invested appropriately according to your own risk tolerance, but let your advisor do the investing, because you don't have to be right, all the time. Mutual funds have can have up to 500-600 different stocks within them, and they're so diversified that if one of the companies were to go bankrupt, it would be just a little pebble on the road going over, because there's 499 more types of stocks in that portfolio. So don't be afraid to get involved in investing, but just because we're close to all-time market highs, it's not a reason. You'll always find a reason not to invest. One of the most important things also is to identify what it's for, the goals, and when you should be selling too, because it's a very difficult thing. It's easy to buy a stock, knowing when to sell it is the hard part. And so when you're going into an investment, you should have a time horizon of how long you intend to hold that investment. The next year, I'm optimistic for next year, JC. I'm in line with, they said 8%. I'm a bull. We've been in the bull market for a long time now. It's been since 2022, right? The end of 2022. So it's been a couple of years. Every 3 to 5 years on average, we have a bear market, which is a 20% pullback from the most recent high. So is it possible? Yes. The indicators, it looks to me right now that we're going to continue to have strong, robust holiday season. Strong corporate earnings are going to be reported for the fourth quarter. We'll see next year. And, we'll see different things that drive the market. There's certainly going to be tax changes, policy changes, with an incoming administration. And it's such an exciting time to be alive with the advent of cryptocurrencies and, alternative payment methods, to watch the changes happen before our very eyes of, what's going on in the world. I'm an optimist. I'm excited for the new year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what our technology is going to bring us here in the near future.
Okay, Josh, we're down to the last minute of the show. Stick around after the show, after we go off the air for a minute or so if you can.
Sure.
But your closing advice, and you got 30 seconds or less to.
That was mainly it. If we can look at our credit situation, credit cards, they're kind of anti wealth building tools, right? So if you want to not build wealth, let's take out some more credit this year, everyone, and max out those cards and cut them up and are like they never happened, right? And then I let our credit go down. No, stop borrowing, folks. Stop it. You can have a reasonable holiday season. Plan. Christmas is next week. We know when it is. Plan what we're going to spend, and let's get back in the gym, right?
Hey, Josh, thank you so much for taking the time to
Thanks
come
for
on
having
the Cooley Show. It's your life, and absolutely wonderful interview today. I think it might have been your best one. I think it might have been your best one, but a wonderful interview. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for always putting together an absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank our studios, KCBQ in San Diego's, and newly studios, K-Sky, KS in Dallas, FM and AM, but AM 660 in Dallas, FM 96.1, AM 1170 in California, and all of the affiliations that goes along with that. Thank you. Looking forward to having a great 2025. I also like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show Monday through Friday. Now, it's going to be Sunday to Sunday, and we'll talk about that one later. But we always want you to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.